Hi, my name's Eric. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's talk once again about Madonna. Today I'm going to react to her 1984 sophomore album Like a Virgin and break down the album's lyrics. So yes, of all her studio albums, I will be listening to her debut last, and I am so excited to do that, but I thought this album would be the perfect one to listen to on Valentine's Day. If you're single and here for some singles solidarity, thank you for joining me. We can all be each other's Valentines. And if you are in a relationship and you're going to be spending some quality time with that special someone today. Before I dive in, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite song on Like a Virgin is. I will be listening to the version of the album that includes Into the Groove, even though it was technically released after the original album. I just figured it was an essential Madonna track that I had to listen to with you. Check the description box for links to lists of nonprofits you can donate to. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. And one last thing before I start, I would typically film an album reaction like this on my bed in front of my Galaxy backdrop, but I film my videos on my phone and the battery life has not been great lately, so I have to keep it plugged in and the outlet is only available at my desk. That might also change the audio quality a little bit, but it shouldn't be too drastic. Alright, without any further ado, track number 1 is Material Girl. I love that effect, it almost sounds like coins clinking. I like the pun. Okay, we've got a fade out here. That song is so fun and so playful. I love these contrasts between these sort of more textured, bassier sounds and the more delicate sounds of the song, like that chorus of men's voices and that almost grinding sort of electric guitar synth sound contrasted with Madonna's delivery, which is almost pinched so as to sound more feminine and sort of almost bratty, as well as her yelps and ad-libs. This is, as you can probably tell, a song that I've heard before. I listen to the radio a lot and they play a good chunk of this album fairly often, so a lot of these songs are familiar to me. And so lyrically with a song like this, my first thought is whether it's meant to be tongue-in-cheek or whether it's at all serious, because at least in our economic climate today, with the amount of inequality that we have, a sort of straightforward, sincere, ostentatious display of wealth would be pretty unpopular, and I don't think the 80s were so radically different that it would have been more okay then. Not to mention that Madonna didn't exactly grow up rich, so I don't think this is meant to be taken entirely at face value. It's fun and indulgent, but there is a layer of irony here. Madonna saying we live in a material world is like Lana Del Rey saying money is the anthem of success. It's an observation, not an endorsement. There are a couple great puns here about men not raising her interest or giving her credit. It's pretty reminiscent of her Breathless character from I'm Breathless, right? Which of course came later, but it's sort of this similar type of ambition. And that of course is connected with her romantic pursuits. She can't separate out the financial aspect of her life from the personal aspect of her life. It's all part of this playgirl archetype, which of course subverts some gender norms, as she did for many years. That's something that's been kind of one of the defining aspects of her career, subverting expectations. And that's why the song is sort of coy and suggestive, like when she says, experience has made me rich and now they're after me. So I don't think that the whole album is going to be ironic or especially not insincere, but there's a sense that Madonna is in on the joke. She understands how she is and is going to be perceived, so she is in control of the narrative in that way. She understands what the world thinks and expects of her, and she's going to play with that. Track number 2 is Angel. Her delivery is really different on this song. This somehow feels even more 80s than Material Girl. It's a little unnerving. Okay, we've got another fade out here. That was really sweet. Definitely more straightforward and a little bit more specific to the times than Material Girl. I feel like Material Girl has some of those other more distinctive elements that make it, I feel, a little bit more timeless, but the Nile Rodgers extremely 1980s production is really nostalgic and charming. What struck me immediately is that the song is so tonally different and also more sincere, and part of that is conveyed through Madonna's vocal performance, which is a lot huskier and sort of less pinched. It's less like she is putting on a character or altering her voice to convey something different. It's more like she's singing from the heart instead of from her mind. But what it actually has in common with Material Girl is that it still lives in the realm of fantasy. Material Girl was about all of these men who chase after Madonna because of what she has to offer financially, and otherwise. And so if all men are like that, then the man who's the exception must be an angel. He must be from out of this world if we are living in a material world, and he is immaterial. So much of pop music is about wish fulfillment, and if you're a little bit more cynical, artifice, and that's basically the concept of this album so far. Not that it's a concept album, but we're coming from a perspective where Madonna is imagining herself as rich and powerful, which I'm sure she already was, or at least was becoming at the time, and where heavenly love actually exists. Which brings us to track number 3, the title track, Like a Virgin. That's a fun song. And what's interesting is she has gone back to the type of vocal style that she had on the opener Material Girl, which I sort of associated with a type of irony, but this song is still sort of in the same mindset as Angel, so I don't think it's necessarily a sincerity-insincerity split, but I think there is still a little bit of irony here. I think everyone has heard, or at least heard of this song, but what Madonna is saying on a very basic level is that this new love that she's experiencing is totally different from the love that she's had before. It's more substantial, it's deeper, it's better. And because of that, it's as if she's never experienced real love before, and now it's happening for the first time. Again, we're in the realm of fantasy wish fulfillment. We're in the realm of the divine. It's like this guy is descended from the heavens and has erased her prior dating history because of just how great he is. We've got this subtle biblical thing going on, not just because Madonna's name itself refers to the Virgin Mary, but also at the beginning of the song when Madonna says that she made it through the wilderness. In the Bible, the wilderness is sort of this metaphorical space where these, biblical figures will go to sort out a sort of moral or spiritual vagueness or crisis. And I think in a good number of stories, these periods of wandering through the wilderness end when someone encounters an angel, like Madonna did. The wilderness is where someone is lost and far from God, and now Madonna is found and she's been renewed. But of course, we've still got that little bit of irony. I don't think Madonna expects anyone to believe that she is a literal virgin. She is a metaphorical virgin in this song, because the whole point is that the reason why Madonna feels this way is that she has had experience with other guys, and those experiences have kind of sucked. She says she felt like she had been had, maybe like she had been used for her body or maybe even for her wealth because she's a material girl. It's that same sort of wish fulfillment. If only Madonna had met this guy years ago, if only he had been her first love, then she wouldn't have had to wander through the wilderness of all of these mediocre men to find an angel. Track number 4 is Over and Over. She's having a lot of fun with her delivery again. Ooh, that's interesting. I like the dissonance. That was fun. I really like how kinetic the production is. I really enjoy the percussion on this song. I think I'm preferring the sort of more famous singles from this album over the album cuts, but they're really solid too. The sound also, of course, matches the content. It's always moving the same way that Madonna keeps on moving to reach her goals. And that's because she's back in this ambitious mindset, and she is responding, I think, to sort of pushback that she has received because of that ambition. It's not totally clear who exactly is telling her to, sit down and be humble, but seeing as she's responded to gender and sexual and religious expectations, this feels like it's just a message to society and what they expect of her. And in that same vein, we've got some of these possible double entendres going on, like her talking about playing and getting her fill. She has received this message from the world around her about how she, I think as a woman, is expected to act and to approach her personal and professional life, and she says, actually, I'm just gonna do what I want. She's faced challenges, as she alluded to, on songs like Angel and Like a Virgin, and she has failed and gotten back up. She's wandered through the wilderness, but she's not going to stop, and that's what makes her Madonna. Track number 5 is Love Don't Live Here Anymore, a Rose Royce cover. Oh, okay, wow.
When you lived inside of me, there was nothing I could conceive that you wouldn't do for me.
Wow, really interesting production.
Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore.
Such an interesting combination of elements with the synths and the strings and the acoustic guitar. Oh, yes.
Just emptiness and memories of what we had before. You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore.
Yes. Sing, Madonna. Okay.
Through the windmills of my eyes, everyone can see the loneliness inside me. Just
Yes.
a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore. Don't live here anymore. No, no, you don't live here anymore. You abandoned me. You don't live here anymore.
What? Grade A certified sad banger. Oh my gosh. How have I never heard that before? She put everything into that. Her vocal performance was so bold. The production was such a great update of that traditional pop sound because it had those strings, it had those plucked strings too that were really cool, combined with the acoustic guitar and the drums and those synths. It just kept building and building, and it was so cathartic. That was so great. And the song is such a big turning point also from the other songs, which I think makes it extra impactful, but I don't imagine from the songs that are coming next that it'll last super long with this sort of emotional low point. Out of curiosity, I looked at the lyrics to the original Rose Royce version, and I noticed that Madonna changed the lyric "through the windows of my eyes" to "through the windmills of my eyes." I imagine this is a reference to the song "The Windmills of Your Mind," which very generally is about the way that the memory of a lost love can fade over time. And that little reference that she added makes sense because Madonna is still feeling the impact of this relationship. There's also this sort of pun when she says, "When you lived inside of me, there was nothing I could conceive that you wouldn't do for me." It's this sort of vague birth language that I think connects back again to the idea of the Virgin Mary, Madonna's namesake. Madonna does have later songs like Inside of Me where this language actually refers to the loss of her mother, but I don't think that's what's happening here necessarily. It could be, but because it's a cover and she didn't change that much about it, I don't know if it specifically is meant to talk about the way that her mother, she feels, might have abandoned her by dying, but I doubt that she views death as tantamount to abandonment. But yeah, wow. Wow. I've got to listen to the original version and hear how she changed things, but that was so impressive. And on a very different note, track number 6 is Into the Groove.
And you can dance. Get into the groove, boy, you got to prove you're to me. Music can be such a revelation. Get to run, you feel the sweet sensation. Only when I'm dancing can I feel this free. And into the groove, boy, you got to prove your love to me. Wanna get to know you in a special way. This doesn't happen to me every day. I'm tired of dancing here all by myself. Tonight I wanna dance with someone else. Get up on your feet and step to the beat. Boy, what will it be? Just let the music set you free. Touch my body, move in time. Now I know you're mine. Get up on your feet, yeah, step to the beat. What will it be?
What a banger, and including it here totally changes the pace of the album. I love that choppy bass line. It's something that I don't really get to fully appreciate listening to it on car speakers when it's playing on the radio. This song is like the prime example of a theme that happens a lot in Madonna's music and in pop music in general with other artists like Britney Spears, and that is basically the power of music and dance, and specifically the way that music and dance give Madonna power. The situation is pretty simple. She's out dancing and a guy has caught her eye, but she wants him to really step up and impress her. But if we're thinking about Madonna's mindset in making music in general and this album in particular, then we get a sense that Madonna finds power in it, right? In her music, she can announce her ambition and live out her fantasies, and here be the subject of affection and attraction who men chase. She doesn't have to be the one to wander through the wilderness. She can let the best of the best come to her. It also works nicely because, as with many dance songs, her instructions to this guy are also her instructions to the audience. She's saying to all of us to get into the groove, and that's the power that she has over all of us to make us dance. So again, not super complicated by any means, but even in a more straightforward song like this, it works really well because we get a sense for who Madonna is and how she thinks. Track number 7 is another absolute banger, Dress You Up.
You got style, that's what other girls say. Satin sheets and luxury so fine. But I've got something that you really like. Gonna dress you up in my love. Feel the silky touch of my caresses. Baby, keep you looking so brand new. I'll create a look that's made for you. Dress you up in my love, in my love, and you'll hit that through your door. Gonna dress you up in my love, in my love, all over your body.
I love that moment. That is such a great song. I've loved this song for years. I've heard it on the radio, of course, fairly often. I think this one actually, for me personally, exceeds Material Girl just because I'm a sucker for pop songs in a minor key. I've also always really liked those moments where she lets her voice get huskier in her lower register and actively modifies her tone when she says all over your body. It's such a small detail, but I think that always stood out to me because I came from a sort of classical background where you have to keep your tone super consistent and clean all the time, and Madonna intentionally changing her tone so drastically for fun and for effect just really clicked something in my mind about how music can be not just technical but also expressive. I also like how the song circles back to Material Girl but actually expands on it and clarifies her relationship with luxury. It's not that she wants luxury as in things. It's not the material possessions that she's looking for. It's a metaphorical type of luxury, an indulgence in the pleasures of love. Caresses like silk and kisses like velvet. She wants to luxuriate in love and feel rich in love. And to me, this is another way that she gains and expresses power. A guy in the dating world might be normatively powerful because he's rich and can pay for whatever he wants, but she's powerful because she doesn't care and because she's a great lover. She's not disempowered by trying to work within his idea of what it means to have power. She's powerful because she does things her own way. And what makes Madonna a great pop star is that we can understand who she is just from the music. Track number 8 is Shoo-Bee-Doo.
Shoo-Bee-Doo, ooh la la.
Yeah.
When I look in your eyes, I see so much confusion, and it's killing me.
There we go.
When I look in your eyes, baby, here's what I see. Well, I can't take it anymore. Why don't you dry your eyes? Try and realize love can't open any door. Shoo-Bee-Doo, ooh la la, come to me, baby. Shoo-Bee-Doo, I've been before, but don't compare them to me.
That's relevant.
I'm already here.
Oh, obligatory saxophone, obviously. Love the drums. That was cute and definitely nostalgic. I think this style would have been nostalgic for Madonna. I think it references like the soul music of her childhood, so like probably 60s, 70s. I enjoyed the structure of the song too with that intro. I thought that was creative. And with the nostalgia, it feels like a precursor to True Blue because both this album and True Blue deal a lot with escapism, luxury and fantasy and romantic island getaways and, of course, nostalgia. Sort of in the vein of songs like Jimmy Jimmy or True Blue, this song is a throwback. And just like it draws on the sounds of the past, the lyrics deal with the pain of the past, with Madonna saying, "Don't let your past heartbreak cloud your vision of what you have with me." You'll notice that that sounds familiar, and there are other callbacks to earlier songs, like the way that she rhymes eyes with realize, which I think also happened on Angel. What I think has happened since the midway point of the album is that the perspective has flipped. We're getting these sort of mirror image tracks, like Dress You Up was the mirror image of Material Girl, and now Shoo-Bee-Doo is the opposite perspective from Angel and Like a Virgin, with now Madonna dealing with a partner who has wandered through the wilderness and needs to be reassured that he can trust her. Madonna is this angel, this hero swooping in to change the course of this man's love life. Track number 9 is Pretender. Gotta love those 80s program drums.
He's a pretender. He knows just what to say. He's a pretender. Like fish that got away. He's a pretender. It was so strange the way he held my hand. I wanted more than just a one-night stand. I know that I should take my friend's advice, 'cause if it happens once, you know it happens twice. I'll make him dance with me. I'll make him tell me why he's a pretender. He's a pretender. I'm not afraid to fall 100 times, and I'll believe in all your silly lies. Don't say that I am blind. I
Okay, yeah, there are some songs on this album that feel like pretty expected 80s pop, and this is one of them, but it continues the story of the album nicely because it calls back in some subtle ways to prior songs, and it sort of shows us the consequences of the ways that Madonna has been thinking. She says, if there's a chance, then I know I've got to try. I'll make him dance with me. I'll make him tell me why he's a pretender, which I think calls back to Into the Groove, where she controlled the situation through dance, and she wants to do the same thing here. The odd thing is, Into the Groove wasn't on the original version of the album, so it would be unusual for the song to reference that one, but there is that connection for sure. But a more direct connection, I guess, is later when she says, I'm not afraid to fall 100 times, which very clearly calls back to her mindset on Over and Over. The song also feels like the flip side to Angel and Like a Virgin, where she met this guy who was too good to be true, and turns out he was too good to be true. It's not undoing the rest of the album, it's not undermining Madonna's confidence, because she is still using those same techniques to maintain power in this situation. But just because she's strong doesn't mean she can't get hurt. The final track, track 10, is Stay. Oh, that's fun. Okay.
You make my life much brighter. You're always on my mind. Sometimes I feel I have to get away. I change my mind when I look in your eyes. I always want you to stay, stay, darling. Stay, darling. You soften my lies and deception. You're always losing my way. If you go, I'd rather think of dying instead. I never want you to leave. Stay, darling. When you walked out my door, I knew you'd be back for more. Let's leave the past behind. I always want you to stay, stay, darling. Stay, stay, darling. Scoop, 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 baby. Yeah, baby, scoop, 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 baby. Love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me.
And that is how the album ends. I like that use of repetition at the end. That was very clever. I like also the irony of her saying, let's leave the past behind, while also creating another very nostalgic song that I think references like 60s soul and Motown and girl groups. It is very reminiscent of a song like Baby Love by the Supremes. And we have another reversal here, not just because we've gone from the point of breakup to makeup, but also because Madonna says, you saw through my lies and deception, yeah, I was losing my way. Maybe on a meta level, this can be about how Madonna performed the roles of Material Girl and Virgin, or, even more specifically, Virgin Mary, and now she has begun to crack open the artifice a bit and let us in on this performance. And if we're getting even more meta, then this could be about how Madonna feels that she and other people in the public eye, and women in general, or people in general, put on performances to keep from being vulnerable and getting hurt. And we know it's not just a Madonna thing, because she says, when you walked out my door, I knew you'd be back for more. People all the time put on performances and try to fulfill expectations to their own detriment and to the detriment of their relationships. But because Madonna has experienced that and understands that, she can see through it and preserve herself in her relationships. Honesty is powerful, and to find true love, you first have to be true to yourself. Happy Valentine's Day. Overall, this was a fun album, and it's interesting to see that Madonna had this very distinct perspective that she maintained throughout her music, even on her sophomore album. I think my favorite tracks here are the biggest hits, so Into the Groove, Like a Virgin, Material Girl, and especially Dress You Up, but I also was really blown away by Love Don't Live Here Anymore. The production is really nostalgic, but particularly on those standout tracks, it feels more timeless, which really impressed me. And it's amazing that of a 10-track album, 4 of those songs are still played really often today and are iconic, even almost 40 years later. And I'm excited to listen to her self-titled debut album, so stay tuned for that. I'll also get back into reacting to her music videos. I really enjoy filming those videos, I just haven't really had a chance to lately. As always, please leave your thoughts on this album in the comments. I'd love to know if you grew up with this album or listened to it when it first came out, how it struck you. Also, let me know what other albums you'd like to see me react to and what other topics you'd like to see me cover, and even other types of videos you'd like to see me do. Don't forget to check the description box for those donation links. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and that you have a lovely day. And until next time, that's it.